Yeah, hello everyone. How are you all doing? I hope you're all doing well tonight. Welcome, welcome. Is the music a little too loud or anything? Let me know. But I hope y'all are doing well. Hello, Sabis, hello, Lana, Leifia, hello, Razor Block, One Drunk Man, A Pandas, Raz, hello. Fade and A, Nacho, hello. I'm doing well, how about you, Lightning? I'm doing alright, you know, just chilling. Not so much work today, I guess. You scared me? I was like, who's talking? What do you mean? Were you surprised by the Yaharo? Or was it something else? This music is kind of popping, huh? Too pumped up, maybe. Well, let's change it up. It's a little bit too much. Hello, hello, good morning. How's it going? Oh, good morning. You seem higher energy today. What happened? I don't know. I've just usually when I start the stream, I try to see if there's any other music I like. That's obviously like royalty free and stuff, and won't have issues with DMCA stuff as usual, right? So yeah, I try to do that. Just exploring new things. But I am feeling okay. Today I made some soup, which is great. Today's weather was really weird actually. It was like hot and humid today. It was like, I mean, hot compared to the rest of the season, right? Like it was like 70 degrees out for November 11th and humid because it was raining. So not very nice. I can't say I was a fan of that, but nonetheless, I made some soup to get through the weird weather. What kind of soup I made? I made a fish cake soup. If you've ever tried Korean fish cake soup, that's what I made. It's like Korean, yeah, it's like fish cake. It's like oden, you know, like in Japanese called oden, or in Korean it's called omuk or odeng. And put some rice cake in there, put like onions, garlic, spring onions, and a few other things. Made the stock. Do you have a soup or two soups? I had a few bowls of it, of the same soup. Fish cake soup is chef's kiss. Yeah, it is perfect for like a day like today when it's kind of like muggy and yeah, it just kind of like warms you up. Feels good, right? So that's the kind of that's kind of what I was going for, and it turned out all right. And I shared some with my roommate, and yeah, it was all good. So happy with that. Happy with what it is. And we're here today. We're gonna be building today a duck TC-V3. So for those who might want to maybe learn a little bit of history around the TC-V3, the TC-V3 is actually less of a duck board and more of a board designed by the person named TrueCustom. For those who don't know who TrueCustom is actually one of the first known designers in Korean custom mechanical keyboards. Okay, so it's called TC-V3, and the TC part stands for TrueCustom, and the board was actually designed by TrueCustom. It was run by TrueCustom. It just has a lot of duck elements with it. The reason it was designed was that one of TrueCustom's, not clients, but I guess like associates, or maybe, I don't know, but basically himself included, they had a need for a board to be used with CAD. So something that you could have easy access to macros and shortcuts that you can use with CAD software. And normally in CAD software, you use your mouse a lot as well as your keyboard to like access different kind of like, it's kind of like when you work with Photoshop, kind of the same thing. You work with your left hand a lot while you're like using your mouse, right? Like you're panning and like using shortcuts and stuff. And so the idea was that you need shortcuts on your left hand, which is why the TC-V3 has similar, like this kind of cluster. It has a left-handed cluster, and the right side is kind of like a very playful thing. But that's why TrueCustom designed this in the first place. Other notable things that TrueCustom has designed is pretty much TrueCustom has run all of these old duck group buys. Actually, TrueCustom manages a lot of the duck group buys. He's kind of like the big logistics guy. Duck is a designer and overlooks KBD Lab, which is the main hub for mechanical keyboards in Korea. It's like a website. It's kind of like Keycaps, right? They have like a main gallery and a panel and like, you know, like forum style sort of stuff. Or there's like threads. They have interest checks. They have group buys, all that good stuff. And TrueCustom really participated in this in designing and running as a group buy runner, like the Duck Mini, the Lightsaber, right? Like the Octagon, like all these keyboards. And the TC-V3 is actually kind of like his design. Other known designs that were also made by TrueCustom, I believe, is the King Saver. Have you guys heard of the King Saver? The King Saver was an Alps only keyboard designed for the Wang 724, 725. So TrueCustom actually participated in the design of the Alps King Saver, which is the only really Alps only keyboard that Duck and TrueCustom designed. But yeah. Anyway, let's I had to desolder this board, so it has been desoldered maybe not long ago. But basically, actually, I think it goes in like this. But yeah, so this is the PCB. Wait a second. Okay, there we go. It's focusing now. So this is the PCB. So it's a red PCB with RGB LEDs, and as you can see, it says TC-V3 version 1. And you can see here, designed by Byung-ho Kim and Budok Hwang. So Budok Hwang is Duck, and I think Byung-ho Kim might be TrueCustom actually. I'm actually not sure about his real name, but yeah, kbdlab.co.kr, made in South Korea. So these Duck PCBs are known to have this red PCB normally. Sometimes they come with Snow Pro, which is like yellow and other colors. Dogs? Not really. I mean, that's a real name on there, and everyone kind of knows them. Lighting gonna watch in the background while I stress over math homework. No problem. Alright. We are going to be building with these switches. These are Gateron Ink housings with ultra high molecular weight polyethylene stems. I think the V1 stems, lubed. And this is the case. So I already tested the PCB, so we can actually skip that step today. But this is the case. It's currently obviously unscrewed because I was desoldering this stuff. These are just the screws. And these are the acrylic pieces that go with the PCB for the RGB underglow. And basically, the layout is very interesting. It's kind of like this. I mean, it's kind of hard to like lift, right? But this is the layout basically. So it has this cool brass interior weight right now. And it has this left column macro here, and the navigation cluster is kind of compressed into this right hand side. So at the end you'll see what this all looks like, and has this arrow cluster. So you could think of it kind of It's like a 75% with a left extended macro column section. TrueCustom 김병호님. Okay, there we go. So, oh, the music stopped. So yeah, Duck and TrueCustom are the two gentlemen who run basically KBD Lab and basically run all of the group buys that are associated under the Duck 0113 name, and they basically are business associates, so to speak. So yeah, TrueCustom is a very important name to know if you're interested in Korean keyboard history, just because they've both been around for a long time, but TrueCustom has really been kind of key in the development of a lot of Korean customs. A long time no see. Has it been a long time? Rises B? I actually don't know. Maybe for you and me it's been a little while, because I don't think I saw you last time. Anyway, so I tested the PCB. What's the first custom keyboard kit to your knowledge? The first custom keyboard kit known to at least the Western world was the DK Saber, which is the Tokyu. So the DK Saber is it comes in it's basically the first. It's one of the first custom keyboards. It's maybe the first, but it's a keyboard that was made with it has a half plate, and PCB half plate, and then it's like the half plate is like sandwiched between the top and bottom case, and it comes with an F13 key actually. So funnily enough, the first custom keyboard kit was a TKL with an F13, and right now we are seeing the revival of F13 key TKLs, which is pretty funny, right? It's like we've come full circle with F13 TKLs. So we can actually look it up. Let's look it up. So DK Saber. I think. Yeah, so this is the DK Saber. Let's see if it opens up. Yeah, so this is the DK Saber. So it's this F13, pretty rectangular keyboard with a sandwiched plate in the middle. Has this LED light over here, but it's basically Win keyless TKL with an F13 key, which is and it's connected only with PS2. And then later on, the OTDs came in. But yeah, the DK Saber, also called the Tokyu Saber. It's Saber because it's like the SSK, where it's like space saving, right? Space saving keyword, space saver. That's why it's called Saber. Yeah. So that's what the DK Saber actually looks like. And the DK Saber was designed by two people. It's actually, the name DK Saber is a combination of two people. It's made by Togak and Kyukyu. So therefore, combining the two names is Tokyu Saber, DK Saber. Anyway, so that's kind of the background. And the DK Saber was first run back in like 2008, 2007? I don't even know. So it's been like 10-12 years since custom keyboard sort of started, and this was in Korea, which is why like Korean customs carry a lot of weight in our community, is because they're known to have this history behind them. All right, so let's get some stabs. Do you know anyone that owns that board? Yeah, I know a few people who do. I know, let's see, at least 1, 2, 3, maybe 3 or 4 people who do. At least in my like people that I interact with frequently, like 3 or 4 people. It's not like a rare board. I would say it's more so like it's actually like the quality of the board is like A-okay. I mean, like you would, back then these group buys were like 250, 300 boards, and so it's kind of, I find it very funny when these boards are being bought for a lot of money. Actually, the DK saver doesn't go for that much. I think you could probably find a DK saver for like anywhere from $500 to $1,000 tops, but I think that's very expensive. In fact, I think that's overkill. I don't think you should be paying that much for that. Not to mention, this is back in the days when people didn't know like what kind of whatchamacallit, like what kind of aluminum to use, like anodizing quality, that kind of stuff was overlooked. Like it was just like, okay, we have a design, let's make it, and as long as it works, that's it. And you just transplant controllers from older vintage keyboards, and you just made them work with PS2 or USB, and then you just move along. Like you don't fuss over these small details that we now do. Like now we fuss over, we talk about how the type of aluminum affects, like the hardness and the machining, and we talk about all these little details of filleting and chamfering and radii of plate cutouts, and we're talking all about this random stuff nowadays, and back then that was not the case. It was just like, okay, have a project, let's do it. Who's interested? Okay, you're in. It's only gonna cost like $300. Okay, cool, let's go. But yeah, because it's PS2. Yeah, PS2 is definitely a drawback for a lot of people. Because I mean, nowadays people even complain that keyboards don't have USB-C. I actually find that so hilarious. I see people in like group buy threads. They're like, it comes with USB Mini. I'm not in. Can't do it. I'm just like, excuse me? Like literally every keyboard up until last year was USB Mini and occasionally USB-C. I don't know. It's like, it's so funny when I see the people who are like, oh, it's such a deal breaker. Never gonna buy a $5 cable to connect it to USB Mini. Never. Because I actually don't even have a USB Mini cable at all at home. You probably do. You probably do from any like old device that you used to connect with USB Mini. There's so many. Why was it saturated with USB Mini? Because USB-C protocol was not well defined, and also USB-C had problems with power delivery for some time. You've seen those reviews by like the Google guy who like would review cables, and he'll talk about how like some cables would fry his phone. There was like problems with that stuff. USB-C still has power delivery issues. Yeah, it does. Yeah, you can easily burn a house down with a bad USB-C cable if you're not, like, if you don't have the right stuff. Like if you got like a jank cable somewhere and it ran 2 amperes and shocked something, yeah, you're gonna burn a house down. I mean, you can do it with regular USB only runs at 0.5 amps, but USB-C devices with quick charge and stuff, like for your phone and stuff, they go 1.5, 2. That's a lot of current. But yeah, I think young people get USB Mini confused with USB Micro. Yeah, so USB Micro is the one you see in a lot of phones. I would say a lot of phones used to have USB Micro. But yeah, I do think that people do confuse those as well. Yeah, no, I don't disagree with that at all. Micro sucks. Yeah, Micro does suck. So Micro, actually, I personally don't like Micro at all either, because of the way the connector gets super janky after enough disconnects. So it doesn't really sustain a lot of cycles for connect-disconnect cycles. So yeah, it has issues. Micro really sucks. Yeah, I think a lot of people do agree with this. But yeah, Jack Static, I do agree with you. earlier I was about to say something. It was also sad when boards are designed without knowing that history. Oh, without knowing that history and make mistakes that were fixed 8 to 12 years ago. I do think, Jax, it would be very useful for the community if, if there was a way to log, like kind of like a change log, or like a, you know, kind of like when people do like bug fixes and stuff and have like little patches or like patch notes or like build logs where, you know, they talk about like, oh, I did this because of this. And it would be nice to see a way to have a compendium of design sort of decisions, which are not like, I'm not talking about proprietary stuff or like stuff that like people want to keep to themselves, but there are some key things that I do still think like newbies as well as even experienced designers can make mistakes for, like whether it's about measurements when it comes to like machining capabilities, as well as like cost efficiency, that kind of stuff that like would make a machinist go mad. Like it would be nice if those tips kind of were compiled or at least shared in a way that people would be like, oh yeah, okay, I'm not gonna do that. They all have issues to some degree. The connectors, yeah, the connectors all have some issues. I need to translate and compile clips from TC-V3. GitHub for keep design revisions. That would be kind of interesting. He goes over so many good details and history over on his YouTube videos. See, so I've heard of TC-V3 maybe 1-2 times, aside from you, and I don't think people look into. The problem is people don't think that you could just go on YouTube and search something about CNC design and there's people with great tips. I don't think people sort of think of it that way, and so yeah, it's worth considering having like a list of resources for people. I mean, you know where I see a lot of the issues. You guys know, for those who do the CAD work, might know that Quantric did a video on how to design a keyboard basically, and he kind of goes over fusion and stuff, and like, you know, kind of like people get started from that. And the issue with that is the basics are covered to some extent, but like there's some key issues, right? Like Quantric's plates don't demonstrate that knowledge in a refined fashion. Like Quantric's plates honestly sucked. They were super tight. You know, cutouts or radii, like that stuff was just not ideal. And you know, obviously like the designs are very tailored to his own preferences. But yeah, section analysis and accessibility analysis in Fusion, please use. Yeah, Fusion has some, like Autodesk has some awesome resources too. Not that I personally use a lot of this, but I've explored Fusion by myself. But I don't do any CAD. I can't do any CAD. I just haven't had the time to learn CAD. I would love to learn CAD and, you know, make myself boxes made out of plastic and metal. That would be cool. But I don't do that. So one day maybe I'll invest some time to learn some CAD. Quantric's video also doesn't go over an USB port, so you see an IC with no USB ports. Yeah, I mean, there's like, you know, very unfortunate mistakes like that. But yeah, I mean, I think it would be nice if we had a little bit more overview over this stuff, you know. But you know, I don't think people sort of. I mean, people don't know where to find things and whatnot. I understand. But yeah. Relief cuts in around the spacebar. Yeah, that kind of stuff. Yeah, I mean, there's definitely stuff that we don't cover because it's also like there are some things that are subjective. Like some people don't believe in the idea of the relief cut stuff, or like, you know, that stuff is very definitely a subjective matter to discuss. Some people are like, oh, it's useless, like, or some people observe like, oh, like, you know, I tried this and it just didn't turn out well for me and I think it's no good. And they have data, but they only share it with, like, they only share it in like spoken word, but it's not like knowledge that's spread around, you know, like people don't say like, oh yeah, like this guy told me this and therefore I'm not doing it. AIO3 resources for designing is where I go if I have technical queries. That makes sense. AIO3's design add to your Discord has its moments of good. But it's not necessarily like that's not your holy grail of design stuff, right? So that's weird. I had my original brush for lubing. Can't find it. Oh, here it is. Okay. Well, it was for access at first, and afterwards it was to acknowledge previous design. Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. I mean, yeah, design is still a bit of a black box for people. Honestly, I don't care that that's the case. I actually don't mind it. I actually do think that some things you just have to find out for yourself. But I think preventing silly mistakes or mistakes that are extremely costly in time and money, those are totally worth having PSAs for, or like open public resources for. That's something that we don't have as much of yet. I think in time we might have more of that, but right now I guess not. But yeah, I think it would be cool because knowing this kind of insight, and not just for designers, okay? This is also for users, like end users, like people who buy these products. Knowing that stuff, it makes you appreciate the work that goes into it. And there's a lot of like chatter over, oh, like basically like couch experts, right? Oh, this design, so blah 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 blah, and you know, they talk about, they either laud it or criticize it, and then when you ask like, okay, so like technically speaking, like why do you think that's like not good, or that you think that's really good, and there's no reason, it's like, oh yeah, that's just the way I like it, I guess. And you see it here and it just looks ugly, and it's like, you know, there's aesthetics and then there's like more of the technical stuff that kind of gets overlooked. And I've tried to sort of understand that more as I interact with designers whenever I get the chance, or I just end up talking with people about something and I'm like, okay, like so like why do you do that, and you sort of get the idea of it, and then when you try it out, like in my case, like I get to build stuff, or I get to see it in some example, like in an actual physical board or something, then I'm like, okay, so this works this way, or it seems to help with the sound here, or the feel, like, you know, like the difference between like a plateless build like the Juby versus something rigid as a top mount, and like you know, like where the top mount screw holes are and stuff, that kind of stuff. Like that stuff, as I start building and experimenting with it, I start realizing, oh, I see, so like this is why they did it this way. Like clearances and that kind of stuff too. Like there's a lot of like small things that, because I don't do the CAD, I don't understand, but that as I talk to people, I start appreciating more. And I do think that it would be cool if people sort of had a way to sort of access the information. It's okay if it's not fully digestible at first, but eventually they will. It's like that. It doesn't have to be catered to the novice. It can be catered to an intermediate or advanced user. But it will at least promote people to self-educate. I personally am not huge into the idea of spoon-feeding knowledge. actually, people ask me like, oh, how do you lube your switches, or how do you lube your stabilizers? And I'm just like, well, like, and they're like, oh, well, you make a guide and post it. And I'm like, yeah, sure, like, I could do that, but you pretty much get 2-3 opportunities every single week to come by my stream and just ask the question, or have a friend ask the question for you, and I'll do it, and it's recorded, and I put it up. Things like that, right? And so sometimes I'm like, is it really worth for me to take the time to do it? Because for me it's a lot, because I have to like learn how to edit videos, that kind of stuff. I've never done it before. I think it would be a valuable skill to learn, but as like, you know, someone who does content creation, but not quite, like, I'm not really a content creator like the other people are as much, because I'm just more like a streamer, and I like educating people through it. But like, I'm kind of like a commentator, I guess. But I don't really think I don't think I would really take the time to just make this video that might be obsolete in a few weeks, or in a few months, because I decide to change something about it. I kind of want to give a general guideline to people, but I don't want to spoon feed it in a way where it's like, oh yeah, it's this. But I do answer the questions like almost like in a spoon-fed fashion when people ask it here, because that's kind of the whole point of streaming to me. Okay, like, the whole point of streaming to me is that people come and ask questions or comment on something about life, and I just talk about it. Like, if that weren't the case, like, if that weren't part of the enjoyment for me to do this, I would not be streaming right now. Like, I would just build I can build this while I'm watching TV. Okay, like, I can do this soldering without caring whether I'm reading chat or not, you know, like, it's very different, and so it's entertaining for me to do this, and so that's why I do it. Have you caught Jack's streams this week? No, I have not. I didn't even know Jack's had streamed. Let me see if I'm am I following Jack's in a, how do you oh, I think I have to go to my regular chat window. It's like weird, but it doesn't let me like do it from the, okay, wait, is that how it goes? No. I think I need to go to my actual browser. That's kind of annoying. Sorry. Do I follow Jack's for notifications and stuff? Does it notify me? I've never seen it notify me about a stream. That's why I'm wondering. I mean, if there was a stream, I didn't know about it, but hopefully now I will, if there is anything like that in the future. It would be cool, because I do think there's people who know a lot but don't necessarily do it actively content wise, and I do think that it would be awesome to hear more about it myself. Let's go back. Oh my god, that reminds me I need to watch that VOD. I see. Like Jax's VOD. Yeah, I haven't watched, so I wouldn't know. I'll go and check it out maybe sometime when I have some downtime for myself. Yeah. I'm a little ashamed of giving advice to newcomers now. I just come to a realization that after being in the hobby for 18 plus months, all my keyword experience is based on third-person experience. Experience learned from watching streams. I've built a few cheap stacked acrylic builds with different switches, but none is a premium board. But you know, that's okay. I think, you know, 10 Peaches, like, sharing that info is totally fine in the way you would. You can just say, like, you know, you can be honest if you feel bad about it. You can just be like, hey, so I actually watch a lot of these streamers who do it all the time, and they say this, and, you know, this is what they say, and I haven't done it myself, but I do think they're right. Like, I've kind of seen it everywhere, and like across different people, and they say the same thing. And you could say something like that. I think that's kind of fair, right? That's a way to sort of say that and not feel like you're spreading misinformation. Yeah. I don't think not giving an opinion is Like, I think giving an opinion is totally fine. Helping newcomers is important. I mean, newcomers define the culture of the hobby, okay? It's like company culture. Like, if you work for a company and you have a newcomer who's kind of a bad apple and you kind of let it roam free, and as a company you don't fix that, and like that kind of sticks and becomes the norm, that becomes the new company culture. So like if it's a toxic individual, for example. But it's the same way, like it also trickles down from the top and it's promoted in a specific environment. Sometimes it's the opposite way. Someone new comes in, they find themselves kind of in a clique sort of situation where the culture of that particular new environment is very specific. It's very it's very much oriented towards a very specific type of individual, and they just can't adjust to it because they just don't know how to. What switches make me game better? Just get better at gaming. I thought streaming is part of the build service. No, streaming is actually not part of the build service as far as my terms and conditions go. I technically am not required to stream to build anybody's board that they send, but most people expect it. I do it as a courtesy. I do it because I want to, but my rates are not based on. They're not based on how much I'm streaming. They're based on how much it takes overall, in terms of how much I rate my work to be in the number of hours or whatever that I charge. So all in all, it's basically overall work or time invested, and basically a monetary value associated with that. So for that reason, I actually don't charge flat rate as much, because flat rate would mean that if there's situations where I invest too much time, then I can't charge more, and in situations where I work a lot less, I also can't be fair to them and charge less. I mean, yeah, charge more, charge less, like that. But yeah, I've been in the hobby for 3-4 months, just repeat stuff other people say to other people. I mean, that's fine. As long as you quote it right. You should give credit where it's due. Surprised but happy to see you streaming tonight. Yeah, I'm surprised too. I actually didn't think I would have time tonight, so. Yeah. This is why everyone lubes with 2.5? Oh, like you mean the info spreading? Optical speed switches with no lube or stabs slowed you down. I actually have never tried optical switches yet. As far as like an actual keyboard with opticals, I haven't tried them. I know there's a few out there, like gamer boards that have optical technology stuff. Haven't tried it though, mostly because I'm not interested in the construction of the keyboards. But I'm interested in the switches and the PCB and the way they function. I'm interested in seeing how they do it. Whether they're using like I'm actually interested more so in the sensor technology that they're using for optical switches. I say that because I work in imaging, so we work with basically light sensors is basically what it is. I mean, it's basically photo detectors. So I'm interested in knowing how optical switches do it, so that maybe that could be insightful for what we do. That's almost a selfish reason to care, but I would be interested to see what's about. Someone sent a hot swap tofu for lightning to build. I mean, I actually have had hot swap sent to me, and I built it. And the reason they sent it over for me, I actually only charged them very little, because the main reason they wanted was they were like, oh, I'm willing to pay for shipping, just as long as you can lube my stabs and, you know, make sure that everything's working, because I just don't want to screw it up, you know, because they were like, oh, you know, like my budget's only this much, but I would actually rather pay someone to just get it right, even if it's hot swap, so that I don't have to worry about it later on. But I think that makes sense. I think that's fair. I thought that was like a very prudent decision on that particular person. And like at the time, I was like, oh, can you just like get it back to me like ASAP? And so I just did off stream. But yeah, I've gotten builds like that too, where like, you know, like, yeah, hot swap, or like, yeah, I just need the stabs lubed and make sure the programming is okay, and you know, if I can get VIA working, that would be great. That kind of stuff. What kind of cable is that? This is a YC8 cable. So YC8. This is a YC8 connector, and this is a USB-C cable. It's a new one he just got. Yeah, so I got a new, this cable, I recently just got it from Cup Cables. Cupcables.com is the website. I think they're on Instagram as cup.cables. They do some great work. They definitely have sometimes the fulfillment can be a little slow because they're pretty busy. They actually have like a lot of cool ideas with like group buys and stuff, and so I do suggest checking out their work though. They've improved a lot over the past year or so. That's the one thing I've been super pleased to see, is that they've just improved so much. Do you like standard USB or left side USB? I would say I like standard a lot. Yeah, I don't think I... Like, I'm used to seeing like the TKL one in the right side, right? Near the... between the navigation cluster and the regular cluster. But I still do think center looks the best. I think center looks the best as a port. Yeah. And provides the most flexibility. Yeah, I think center port is the best in terms of looks for sure. And so I mean, this is why the daughter board trend took off, because it does look good and it adds some conveniences to the design. It thanks me for following. Welcome, Tim the Typer. That's why I don't have following sound notifications on, because it's a bit distracting, and I also found it that I don't think I need to read those out. I think people tend to be active in chat anyway. Like I would rather just read people's like comments and stuff. Yeah. Very distracting. I think, yeah, it is very distracting if it's just like, oh yeah, thank you for following. Oh yeah, thank you for following. Thank you for following. Yeah, I think that does get this. I think at first it's very important, because at the very beginning when people stream, it really is important, because it's acknowledgement that you're reading chat and that you're paying attention to what's happening outside of what you're doing. I think that's kind of important, the interaction with chat. I personally really enjoy talking with chat, as long as it's obviously not offensive, dumb, ignorant, you know, like hurtful, or like overly one way or the other. But yeah, I do think that yeah, for most newer people, I think, like on Twitch, it is important to interact with chat in that kind of direct and very like obvious way. The text to speech for dono sometimes, yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think I do have the text-to-speech stuff on, but I actually don't get donos often, so I don't have to worry about that too much. I haven't had the need. I mean, sometimes when people donate, like, or like do like gift a lot of subs, I will turn it off maybe after this first or second, until it clears out. But for text-to-speech for like donos and stuff, I really haven't had the need to do that, because it doesn't trigger that often. Nearly at all. BM player, hello. How are you tonight? It's a hump night. Alu plate? Yes, it is an aluminum plate. Mr. Nuclear Nachos. What a name. That's a great name. How was your day, sir? My day was alright. It was fairly productive, I would say. I like cooked more than usual today. I actually forgot that it was Veterans Day today, in the sense that I forgot that it was a federal holiday for like some things, and so I actually went to the post office with some mail, and I realized, oh, it's closed because, and I thought it was because they closed early, and then I thought about it again, and I was like, wait a second, no, they are closed because it's Veterans Day. And so, yeah, that was dumb. But on the way back, I got some groceries and came back home to cook. The weather today was like humid and warm, which is very strange for a day in November, but yeah, it's okay. I made some soup to live with it. Yeah. So I'll just put this here. It's getting a little bit dirty. Still hungover. 12 hours later, drinking it off while helping my friend pick out parts for his first custom. Damn, hungover on a Wednesday? Phew, nice. I guess I can't afford to do that. It's just, there's like other work to do. Can't afford to be hungover on a Wednesday. I hope it was a good reason for it, and I hope you enjoyed it. But being hungover sucks. It's been like that in Northwest Ohio the last few days. Way too warm for almost Thanksgiving. Yeah, I know. It's gonna be a weird winter, I'm sure. Well, we're seeing this warm sort of fall right now, and then like winter might snap. All right. I mean, it kind of seems to happen every few years now. I mean, climate change, So yeah, it's not looking too pretty. Not to mention, like, I mean, you guys have seen like hurricane season's pretty weird right now. Like storms and stuff. We're in a weird time right now with respect to climate. Just like everything's completely a bit out of whack. You try going under just talking because just chatting because more people watch that. Oh, just a recommendation. Oh, like just chatting? Yeah, I could do that. I just put it on makers and crafting because I think it kind of is more of a makers and crafting thing. Appropriate, like I think it's more appropriate. But I mean, yeah, it's true. I can't say I'm starving for viewers. I actually have to say that having, like, I get like 100 viewers, let's say. I still personally think that it's more than enough for me to be entertained and chat. I'm not starved for viewers though. Like I really don't do it for the numbers because I don't think it matters so much. I mean, like I think if people start appreciating it, then they'll come and watch again, right? Yeah, I don't really mind. I mean, there's bigger profile people who still do makers and crafting and they get the numbers, so I don't think it's about the numbers. Yeah, I think it's just about doing what you do best and keep doing it. There is a strategy for everything for sure though. There's no doubt about that there is a strategy to getting better stats and all that, but I'm not really about that min-maxing. Do you like cats or dogs? I actually like both. I actually used to not like cats when I was a kid because I didn't grow up with cats. I actually grew up with dogs, and so as a kid I had a collie. They are all at different times. I had a collie, I had a Labrador, and I had a Chihuahua. Yeah, and I've taken care of other breeds too. Like I've taken care of like golden retrievers and like I've taken care of like German Shepherd, Jindo. But yeah, I grew up with dogs, so I'm very fond of dogs. But when I later on in like college / yeah, I would say like college, I had friends who had cats, as well as my brother. My brother got cats, and when I visited, like I got to take care of like Foster's and his own cat, and like they're fun and super nice, super cute, super like cuddly, and just like really sweet cats I took care of, and I kind of enjoyed that a lot, and so I really like cats now. I like both cats and dogs for like, you know, all the good reasons, I think. So I think if I had pets, I would love to have a cat and a dog that do get along with each other. I think that would be awesome. I think, yeah, having a cat and a dog that got along with each other would be great. I think you have to kind of have them young for that to happen, but I think it would be awesome. I think animals of different species that get along is super sweet. Kind of switches. I'm gonna be using these are Gateron inks with polyethylene stems, and these have olives, which are basically like green creams, but with a lighter spring, I guess. Cats and dogs getting along? Yay. I'm allergic to cats, pepper hands. Yeah, so actually one of my roommates is allergic to cats. And so I wouldn't be able to foster a cat or take care of a cat here at home. Or like at my current place. Yeah. Jampot, thank you so much for the sub. Welcome back for 2 months. Eat. Thank you. Very kind of you. Alright, so we need 3 stabs, I think. 4 stabs. So we need shift, spacebar, enter, and backspace today. Gotta go, but we'll be back on your next stream for sure. Oh, thank you so much, Tim the Typer. I'm glad you stopped by, and thank you so much for your kind words. Lightning, I wanted to ask, RGBK or RGBW to go with Dolch? You think RGBK goes better? It creates... because you're already using your... personally, I like the Black Legends because you're already using RGB as an accent, and Black Legends actually stand out a little more, and I just like how they look with the RGB colors. Alex Happy, hello. The most friendly animal is a capybara. They hang out with all kinds of animals, including the crocodiles. Wow, that's kind of interesting. But do the other animals like it? Like, do they endanger themselves by being so friendly? I think that's the kind of like concern I would have with friendly animals, is that if they're friendly but they can hurt themselves for being too friendly, you know. It's like some animals don't appreciate the company, you know, so do humans, but you know. How are you today? I'm doing alright. Quokkas are pretty chill. I actually don't know what a quokka is. Is that like a rodent? I don't know. I actually do not know what a quokka is. Never heard of it. They look very cute. Someone send me a link. I want to see what it is. What kind of mounting style do you like best, sound and feel wise? I think top mount is very reliably nice, you know? I can't say bad things about top mount, really. Haven't really seen anything bad about it, you know. I think gasket is interesting and all. People associate gasket with soft and good, but I don't think it's always like that. I think it can have its own extremes, or it can have its kind of like mood points where it doesn't really feel that much different, but it's just a lot more like there's more to it. Personally, I'm not super invested in a particular mounting method as long as the end result is okay. I think the plate matters. Plate material and style matters more than the mounting, actually. Because I've tried. I mean, you can even make tray mount sound and feel pretty good. So I actually don't think when people say like, "Oh, tray mount's shit," and gasket's the best, and or they're like more like classists, or like you know, like they go for the only classics. They're like, "Oh, top mount or bust." It's kind of like, it's kind of dumb. I think it's kind of silly, because there's combinations that you can use to make it better, and pretty usable and pretty good. And so yeah, for me it's preference for sure. I definitely do like top mount, and I pretty much have every kind. Like I've used bottom mount, I've used top mount, I've used gasket mount, I've used tray and sandwich, and they all have ways to feel pretty good. But I think top mount is pretty reliable and simple conceptually. See, apparently they live in islands where they have no natural predators, so they're described as really happy and friendly. Plus, yeah, they're really cute. Ooh, interesting. I mean, that makes sense if they don't have natural predators, so they're very like free and like free-spirited, and you know, yeah, well, like happy because they're so like they have so much freedom and they don't feel threatened and stressed out all the time. Wombat saved a lot of small animals during the Australian bushfire. They lead these small animals into their burrows to avoid getting scorched by the fire. That's amazing. So they're like the rescue guides for the other animals. That's actually so awesome. I mean, I do think that like understanding like ecology and like nature's interactions in that sense are super cool. Especially like ecosystem level or like whole full habitat level stuff. It's like, oh, it's like there's a balance between species like that. And when you understand that stuff, you're like, whoa. Like you have to appreciate like both the big and the small, and like the predatorial and non-predatorial species, you know? Quokka with leaf. Let's check this quokka out. That's cute. They look so happy. Oh, hold up. Let me see if I can open this on the other chat. I mean on the other window. They're so happy. Check this out. I mean, you guys might have clicked it already, but this is the quokka with a leaf. So cute. Alright. Anyway, Hero Wombats. How do you find leaf spring mount? Dry fitted my thermal the other day. I got mixed feelings. So Jampot, I've only tried leaf spring in the Keycult number 2 revision 1. I think that's right. Oh no, and also the Keycult number 160. So let me think. So actually I enjoyed it in both the Keycult number 2 revision 1 with the brass plate that I built. That was actually very surprising to me. I was like, oh, it's a brass plate and it actually feels, the bottom out doesn't feel so harsh. That was really nice. It was a very nice typing feeling. I was very surprised. I was like, I really like the Keycult number 2. It's a great board. I think this system is working for them. Like it works out for them. The amount of compression that they limit it to, and the way they do their gaskets, all that stuff. Like it's a very thoughtful process, I think, and I think for them it's working out because they've kind of tuned it out to a good extent. Same with the Keycult number 160, 165, all those, right? They have basically share the same system, so I'm not gonna really comment on that because I think the results pretty much the same. But I will say that, what else did I try? What else have I tried? I have not tried the thermal, for example. So I know that in the thermal, the leaf spring idea is taken to a bigger extreme in a way, because it's this whole frame. that's kind of spring loaded like that. And so I would be curious to try one out directly. I'm not sure when I will get to, but if somebody sends one or I get an extra thermal, which I do plan on entering, or at least I entered the Rama Works form for the extras. If I get a thermal, I'll definitely have more thoughts about it. But right now, I don't have any thoughts about what the Wilbatech Rama Works Foundry thermal is like, because I just haven't tried that one. But yeah, for the Keycal number 2 though, and the Keycal 160 and 165, the leaf spring system seemed to work pretty well. I did think it was a bit of an improvement, not a huge improvement, I'll say. I don't think the leaf spring actually does that much work in the case of like these. The 160, I think the board is kind of small, and maybe the aluminum plate was, I don't know, it didn't feel like the leaf spring was doing as much. But I do think that it was a soft bottom nonetheless because of the gasket. So yeah, but I mean, the thing is, I haven't done an A/B test, as in like, oh, full aluminum plate with leaf spring, full aluminum plate with no leaf spring, similar build, and then compared. If I could do an A/B test like that, I would have a better opinion, better formulated opinion about it. But I currently don't have like a non-leaf spring mount aluminum plate, for example. So, what's my favorite plate material? Probably aluminum. It's a good middle ground. I think aluminum for full plates and polycarb for half plates, or POM for half plates. POM, polycarb, basically soft plastic for half plates and aluminum for full plates. I think those are my preferences at the moment. What's your opinion on stainless steel plates? I think stainless steel plates are actually pretty nice. People used to use them a lot with linears. They're rigid, but they actually sound pretty nice and solid. I don't think they're bad. I think they're all right. But I still think, I mean, the thing is, if I have a choice between brass, stainless steel, aluminum, I normally pick aluminum. So yeah. It's actually depressed. They can't help but look that way. You mean the Quokka? Oh. Yeah. Not a big fan of FR4. I've only tried FR4 in a limited fashion. I think FR4 is kind of similar to some of the plastic stuff, and some of the, maybe like carbon fiber might come closer to FR4. FR4 is okay too though. FR4 doesn't sound bad. I've tried FR4 and it sounds pretty good. I just wouldn't, I don't think I can say it's my favorite, in the sense that like I still prefer a plastic over FR4. Like I still prefer polycarb or POM over FR4 for like a half plate, and I still prefer aluminum for a full plate. FR4 is godlike if you want clack. I think carbon fiber is very similar to that too. I think carbon fiber also brings out a certain sound profile that's very unique, and I think that's pretty nice about it. I think carbon fiber is a very interesting material to work with. I highly recommend trying carbon fiber at least once, and try like whatever your favorite switches are. Just try the build. Like, don't try to cater the carbon fiber with a particular build. Just try your favorite build with the carbon fiber plate and see how it differs, so that you can get a better idea of what it does. That way you can actually compare what it is. Like, let's see, thermal. No, it's really bouncy. Not sure if I like it or not. Some definitely prefer sound over feel. It sounds very much like you can hear the pure switch noise. I might go with an aluminum half plate maybe, or might get a plastic plate cut. Oh, interesting. Cool, interesting. I don't really know much about the thermal as much as people who own it already. So. Love it, my brutal. When I tried the, I think the Savage 65, I tried it with, I think that one came with an FR4 plate, and that was pretty nice. I thought it was pretty good. Oh, the Duck Octagon I think I built like a month or two back was also FR4, and that was pretty nice too. Apparently the Vega 1K in stock has 500 units allocated for China, and it's sold out in minutes. So only 500 units left for the global audience. Duckboard, I can tell by plate and PCB. Yeah, of course. Very, very clear. What kind of board it is. They have very characteristic look to it. As a car guy, you can never have enough carbon fiber. Yeah, I think that's right. I think a lot of car people say that. I mean, I used to do some car, well, not like car, so I did like FSA, like formula. I see though. Looks like the situation for whatchamacallit, the situation for Vega is not looking very good. Okay, I need to figure out what the layout here is gonna be like. Yo, Alex, happy. Thank you so much for the tier 1 sub. Thank you so much for considering subscribing and for doing it. Just going for a shower, BRB. Did you join the Duck Orion 2.5 group buy? I actually slept through it, so no. Let me see. I might wanting to make me switch from tactile to linear on my EO87 stainless steel plate. I do, so yeah. A lot of people would suggest linears with. So it's really funny. People, for the longest time, people would say use a soft plastic plate for tactiles and a solid stainless steel plate for linears. That was kind of like the meta. And aluminum if you wanted anything in between. And then brass kind of came in as a plate material and was like, oh, brass dampens the sound. And so it became popular. And brass plates were the rage for a while too. Do you think brass plates will get popular again? Why were they ever the go-to plate material? Because it was like, it's about as solid as stainless steel. It looks good, and it like has like kind of like absorbs some of the sound, and like, you know, it's like pretty good. It sounds pretty good with like certain configs, like in cases and stuff. And that's kind of why like people would do brass for a long time. I do think it's still I think brass is still popular though, nonetheless. Stainless steel plates are the worst. I don't think that they're the worst personally, but that's just me. I don't think they're that bad. Lightning, do you speak Spanish? I do. Or is this the persona importante role just happened to be decided to be in Spanish? Yes, I happened to put it in Spanish because I wanted to. But yes, it's not by chance. It's a very conscious decision. Juicio, hello. How's the night going? The night's going alright, my friend. They're really bad for Alps. So much ping. Hey, Oreos? Are they Oreos? Is that what Oreo is? I don't know. Okay, I think I got the spacing wrong, so I think it's this one. I'm not gonna be upset if I didn't get the Vega. Just thought it would be nice to get an in-stock board if I can. Yeah, that would be good. I'm sorry to hear that. It's unfortunate. Okay, I think this is the right spacing now. Okay. And then we move this over to here. Wait. What's up with the spacing? Wait a sec. What? The layout chart is weird. Need to check the TC-V3 layout chart, because I don't think some things work and some things don't. Let's see. Okay. So looks like I can do 1.5, 1, 1.5, 625, 1.2, 1.2, 1.25, or I can do 1.25, 1.25, 6, 1.5, 1.5, 1. I'm not sure I like this one. Which one do I like better? For 6.25U. I think I'm gonna go with... Question is basically where I want the spacebar. I think I'm gonna go with this one here. Left side 1.5 and right side 1.25. I think that one is probably best for this one case. I think it looks the best, but spacebar ends up in the middle. I think that's kind of nicer than spacebar more leaning towards the left. Yeah, let's do that instead. I thought it was all 1.25, but it's not. So I'm gonna have to move things over by 1, I think. So let's try. Sorry, I'm missing a bunch of stuff. Sorry. Blah, blah, blah. Thermal and Noah should be shipping. Like me some brass long pole switches. Yeah, brass plates are fine. Getting the Alice board that was gonna have tactiles, but I only use linears. Try it out. We're talking about stainless steel plates. They're shit for Alps. Yeah, I think it depends on the case too. They do sound pingy though, stainless steel plates. Vega is not a group buy though. It's an in stock, I think. Oh, I think it has a group buy element later. I think, right? Zirconium plates. Pro the accent. Good to know that a compadre habla español. I just happen to be Mexican. Yeah, I'm Mexican too. I'm Mexican by birth, actually. So. Let's see. Zirconium looks glossy black with heat anodized. Think PVD brass, but not brass. Oh, cool. TIL about zirconium. I actually don't even know jack about zirconium, but good to know. What keycap set do you plan on using? I'm thinking of using GMK Alter, which I just got. So, yeah. Just removing some excess solder that was around from desoldering. And sometimes you end up getting a little bit of excess around the switch holes, and so you can just use a soldering iron to remove it. I'll just stick to the iron. Alright, cool. Alright, so it was going to be 1.51. And then 1.5 again. And I need to move this guy over. Wannabe laser kick W? I think it's a little different, but yeah. That's fair if you want to think of it that way. Okay. And then we have 1.5. Okay, so I need to remove this tab because it's just getting in the way. Okay, I think. Oops. Switch go over here. Okay, and then 1.5, no, 1.25. And then 1.25 again, and 1.25 again. Okay, so 1.25, 1.25, and 1.25. Goes like this one, maybe? Okay, I think that's gonna be the bottom row for this guy. Cool. I'm gonna need to mark it, so. Alright, what are the white and black caps on novelties today? Like how they look? They fit my budget? That's nice. Yeah, the white and black keycaps actually look pretty good. The novelties ones, the cherry PBT ones. Yeah, those look pretty good for the budget, actually. Alright, so I know those. And this one goes here. Okay. And this one goes here. Alright. Is the music in the background that one music subscription main content creators use? Yes, it is. It's called Epidemic Sound. You can do exclamation, I think exclamation playlist, I think might trigger a affiliate link, I forget actually. Playlist? Yeah, there's a referral that you can use if you're interested in it, but otherwise, yeah, that's a service that a lot of us are using. Some others use different services, but there's ways to do royalty-free stuff that's like obviously not licensed. I mean, like not DMCA violating stuff. So yeah, Epidemic Sound is one of them, and yeah, it is a subscription-based service, so I do pay for membership, sort of thing. All right, I need to get screws. People in Teja Discord told me that MK65 would sell out in a few hours, so I just have to hope I can get it. I think it'll be okay. A lot of people have gotten MK65s over time, so I think their demand is kind of sort of like tapering off too. Slowly, but not too much. I mean, there definitely are a lot of new buyers out there, so. But yeah. I had some washers around here. Where'd they go? Some washers aside. Very cool. Yeah, here they are. These are ones that were already on the board before I did any work on it. Just gonna reuse those because it's useful. If I wouldn't be able to get it, I'll just do a tofu 65. That's fine too. Don't see any problems with that, personally. NK65 better. Trust I have a tofu. There are a lot of NK65s to go around though, so personally I don't think you need to fuss too much over being missing it. But I mean, there will be many opportunities is what I'm really trying to say, so yeah. You can bet your chances on it. A chunky washer? Yeah, I know. It was already on it, but it is a chunky washer. It seems to work though, so can't complain if it works. I mean, the whole point of it is to insulate, so if it's thick, it's just gonna help more, right? So can't complain. Plus, reusing stuff is not bad, because, you know, I don't want to be wasteful. If it already worked before, you know? It doesn't really matter if it does. Oops, should have used this one instead. Oh, whatever. Maybe I'll undo this one. Soldering's daunting, but it's pretty easy. I agree with the fact that it's easier than you would imagine, I think. Hey, Zerp, what's up, man? How you doing? If I were to do another build after this NK65, let's see. Finalizing kitting for the new project. New project, huh? Cool. Getting hooked on that key set game, huh? I've been working on this for a while. Yeah. I'm not saying you weren't. Just being facetious. I like taking my time. That's good. It's not a bad thing to take your time. You know? Can't hurt. How goes the build? The build's going okay. Not many issues really, or not really any issues at all. Yeah. Just taking my time as well, is what I would say. Oops. Should have not done that. Hold up. I'm gonna cut this one. Is there a Snoper PCB for TC-V3 or is it only O2D? I don't know how to answer that question because I don't know the answer for it. Not sure. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. That keyboard with RGB mods looks really nice. Thank you. It's a classic look. Dolce and RGB mods. Are you gonna be at Basic Subathon this Saturday? I don't know. I'll probably stop by at some point. But will I be there? I'm not sure. I don't know yet. I don't know what my Saturday schedule is looking like right now. Yeah, I'll probably stop by at some point if that's happening. I haven't done a Subathon myself, but I really honestly don't have the time to do something like that. So regular streams for me it is. Yeah. Just don't really have the time to free up a whole whole day. And then like not feel like shit the next day. Or like the day after actually even. Yeah. I wish I could do it, but yeah, I just currently don't have the bandwidth for that. Just have other projects. I mean nothing to do with keyboards actually, but basically I have other things to do that are not to do with keyboards, so yeah. Just have to focus on those things first. It would be cool though. I wouldn't mind doing a long stream at some point in the future. I'm not sure when that would be. Probably not now though. What do you do for work? Maybe like you use a vacation day or something? Yeah, I could. Maybe in the future. I don't know when. I do research though, so yeah. It's kind of always busy in some form or another. Remaining functional over subathon? Yeah, for sure. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I know that subathons are done for... I mean, it's exactly what they're called, subathons. They're done to raise the number of subscribers, so yeah. If I were in need of more subscriptions, maybe I'll consider it. But yeah, I don't do it for that reason, so I don't really need to do it. Yeah, I don't find a need to, really. That's really what it is. Wait, I was gonna say 1.25. No, 1.5 U first. What do you think about this board? Hold up. What? Lubed and film gat black inks, cool. Tofu 65, alright. Aluminum case. Hot swap. Played brass or polycarb. Durox staffs, keycaps. Yeah, that sounds pretty good to me. Taisu types. That sounds good. Sounds pretty decent. It's pretty good to me. I vote polycarb. Yeah, I would say I personally like polycarb, so I would, yeah, sure, I would vote polycarb too. I would also vote polycarb, because why not? These switches are a little bit tight, actually. I don't think this is closed fully properly, so I think that's probably why. I'll try different switches, see how it goes. Okay, so this one goes in a little better. So. Oh yeah, let me check. Am I doing full caps or stepped caps today? regular caps lock, okay. I mean, it's full caps lock today. So do that. This plate is feeling a little tight on the switches. Is it really though? Hold up. You know when the plate is tight and you feel like the switch is kind of feeling a little tactile? That's sort of the feel I'm getting on some of these. Not all of them actually. Some of these switches, these are fine. These are all fine right now. Yeah, these are okay. But this one, I'll put aside just in case. Are they filmed? Yeah, they are. Let me see what kind of film they used. Can't tell. Is it a TX film? I think it's a TX film from what I understand. So we'll see. I mean, I won't know until these are all in. Okay, so I think it might just be that switch. I think it's okay then. All right, cool. All right, let's test the stab. So let's put in switches on the shift. Let's put a switch on the spacebar. Backspace. Enter. Okay, cool. And let's test those. I just remember that I own an empty pumpkin spice sherry box that I super glued right after I took out the bag. Inside, there goes the explanation for the empty box giveaway idea. That's just so random. I don't even know why. It is very random. Fuego, great good, my friend. How are you doing? How are you? Chilling? I'm good, man. Chilling as well, I guess. It's going, it's going. Can we raid Dr. Huru after this? He goes live in an hour? Yeah, we'll see. Hearing a little bit of scratchiness or something on the left side. Backspace sounds scratchy. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. Not sure if it's a switch or if it's a stab, so we'll take a stab, haha, at the with a bit of lube on the left side, I think, 'cause I think that's where it sounds a little off, and then go from there. A little scratchy. Yeah, that's what I thought too. Thoughts on matrix boards? Matrix boards are pretty nice. They're very unique design-wise. So it's either your cup of tea or it isn't, I would say. Yeah. It hits everyone differently. But they're nice. They're nice boards. I mean, they're definitely popular for a good reason, you know? So Matrix Anno is nice, more international group buys. Yeah, I do hear that they'll be doing more international stuff, which is pretty nice because they're region locked for a long time. So yeah, could be difficult to get if you don't have a proxy or no Chinese. Okay, sounds good. I don't like this backspace stab for some reason. I'm not sure if it's the wire or if it's something else, but something about it doesn't feel too right to me. So, do I remove it? Do I switch it out? Or do I... Let's see. Let's change the switch first and see how it goes. But I have a feeling it's a stab. So, maybe I'll just need to change the stab, which is totally fine. I mean, there's no rattle, really. Yeah, you know, I can just switch out the stab, or the wire at least. Whew. Yikes, that was tight. These switches are put in really tightly, and these plates are kind of tight on these guys. Just don't make mistakes and you'll never have to hit the backspace. Very true. Very true. Imagine hitting backspace. Couldn't be me. Only hit it on purpose so that people can hear it. Just for typing tests. Never make mistakes. It's really hot in this room right now for some reason. Huh. Okay. Just split backspace? Sheesh. Yeah, I'm not a pleb. Not gonna split backspace when I was told not to. Also, I wouldn't split the backspace on this layout, actually. It looks really awkward with all the keys. I think I have a ton of stabs, right? Where's my... Every time... Okay, here it is. Hot take. Let's hear it. Pokimane is streaming in French. And it's kind of awesome. That was a hot take? Okay. That was a hot take. I mean, it's a hot take. Is it a hot take if you're hot for it? You know what I mean? Or is it a hot take because it's different? I feel dirty. As a tier 4 Pokemon sub, I'll open her stream in another tab. I see. I see. It's okay. You guys can go watch Pokemon instead of me. That's cool. I don't mind that. Just know that next time you're here, you won't be able to access the chat. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, that's actually pretty funny. I don't know. French, huh? Streaming in French. Interesting. Lightning over Pokemon. I'll start calling you my queen and going crazy every time you stand up. Oh no. Oh no. But then I need to make a 5.5 tier tier list. A subscription tier list. At tier 3 I might provide one-to-one sessions. I pick Lightning over any streamer any day. Oh, that's cute. You're cute. I appreciate it. Alrighty. Alright, let's try this bad boy. Let's actually not use these fat washers. For some reason, something about it makes me feel like I'm not tightening the screw properly. I use the small one. But the rest were fine, so just as a precautionary measure. Alright, so where's my screwdriver? All I had to say was Leafy and the bot would auto-ban me. I guess they had drama or something? Huh. I honestly don't really know anything about streamer drama specific to Pokemon or whatever. Yeah. Unfortunately, I don't keep up with that kind of stuff. I'm not, actually, I don't think it's unfortunate. I think it's fortunate that I don't keep up with that kind of stuff because I don't really think it's very productive. So why use my time in that way, you know? Why use my time that way? Alright, let's try this out. So, okay, let's put some corner keys first. Gosh, okay. You went regular backspace with your Juby? I thought you usually go for split on 60s. No, not always. Sometimes I go regular for some builds. But the main reason I went regular for Juby was because... two reasons. Because I have function keys over here, so I don't need the extra key. And second reason, because I thought it would sound nicer. Just in, like, just I would like to abuse the fact that it's a plateless build. Thicker backspace gets that nice, thick, thocky sound. So yeah, those are the two reasons, or the three reasons I went with, why I went with full backspace on the Juby. So about time I get some work done. Yeah, you should. You should. Alright, let's just test this backspace key, I guess. Is the cutout too tight? Or is it just a backspace key being like that? It still sounds a little scratchy at the edges. Is it the woes of using a cherry stab? Maybe it is. Maybe it is. Which could be what it is. As long as it doesn't rattle, I wouldn't care, but I don't think it's that bad, but let me see if I can fix it. a little scratchy still. Well, it's like, so only at the edges. Would I care? I wouldn't. Would somebody else care? Maybe. I don't think I would care because I almost never press the edges of the backspace. But that's just me. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure this is a problem that Lube can fix. I think that's okay. I think that's as good as it gets. So we'll proceed from here. TBH. I don't think it's that bad. Yeah, it's okay. Go stabless? Huh. That'll be fun. That means they would have to press the center every single time, so yeah, that's true. It would eliminate the issue entirely, and it would make them better at pressing backspace. Also, the backspace key being a row 1 key actually helps in the sense that it doesn't tilt as easily to the sides. But yeah. The backspace sounds good to me personally. Yeah, it sounds okay. I actually realized that the friction was happening on the, not inside of the wire area, but actually on the outer part of the stab insert. So basically the wall of the interior wall of the stab housing and the outer wall on the interior part of the stab inserts. And so I think it's because the cutout is pushing it a little bit on the inside. I mean, a little bit towards the inside. So, yeah. It'd be like that. Wasn't that the issue with the Q2? The stab cutout was too tight? Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's basically a similar issue. Yeah. Yeah, you could say it's pretty much the same thing. I'm not sure if it's that bad in this case though, because there is enough spacing, but I think it's actually the PCB. Like the PCB might be a little tight on the horizontal. I think if the cherry screw-ins were not as tight tolerance, it would probably have fewer issues. So like a Zeal stab or a Durox stab probably wouldn't have as much of an issue because they tend to have looser tolerances around the walls. But yeah, it's kind of the same idea though. Oh wow, it's been 2 hours and I'm still putting in switches. Whoopsie. It's been a little bit slower with the stab situation. Just realized, time flies sometimes, huh? Time flies when you're doing fun things. Backspace on the other PCB I have for TC-V3 is a tad scratchy too. Yeah, so it's a possibility that basically the separation of the stab housings, you know, the holes are not, it's not perfect. But I think it's kind of a small minute thing that it might be up to the variation that can just happen when you produce things. Oy. Sorry, I didn't hydrate earlier. What time zone am I in? I'm in the east coast of the US. So it's 10:54 p.m. here. Oops. Alright, get the pin. Where did chat go? Is my Twitch not working? Chat's right here. Or, I mean, you could try refreshing, but yeah. People are not talking though. Just very quiet, nice and quiet. Gonna head to bed, mate. Thanks for the stream. Hope you get a thermal. Thank you so much, Jampod. I hope you have a good night. Thank you so much for stopping by. All watching Pokimane stream? Yeah. Pokimane stole all my viewers. GG. Yo, Skewed, what's up? Thank you so much for the Twitch Prime, my friend. How are you doing tonight? Alright, that's why I'm not used to seeing a very quiet chat. Yeah, it's a quiet chat here. We're all about that quiet chat jams. We just vibing. That's right. It's good. It's I have to say it is pretty nice to me personally. But, you know. Why sim for Pokimane when you can sim for Lightning? Yeah, jeez. Duh. Imagine simping for Pokimane. Why are you so cute, Diego? I don't know. Am I really though? Sometimes I get told that and I'm like, not sure if true. I'm not sure if truthful. Lubing switches while I watch? Yeah, that's a good way to spend the time actually. I actually lube switches while I watch TV too, so yeah. I understand that. This chat kind of sus. Too quiet. Hey, but Jay Rogers has a red name, so red sus, you know? Red sus. Hard to not be sus on Lightning Stream? Seriously. Jeez. So sus. Oh, I'm kind of wanting to play Among Us. Fun times. Among Us too hard? I hate lying. Oh, it is hard, yeah. It is a difficult game for sure. Especially if it's not a 2 imposter game. It's really, really hard. We're about to use Among Us as a team building event at work. Not sure whether that's a good idea. I'm not sure if that's a good idea. Team building? I'm not sure. Hanging out? Okay. But team building? I don't know. Like, not professionally anyway. It's fine if it's like an event thing. Actually, now all the switches are in. This backspace sounds okay. Okay, cool. That's a good thing. Stabbing your coworkers in the back. Sorry, it was blocked by Automod. Did Salvin's link just not get entered? What do you mean not get entered? Not get entered for what? It's right there. Isn't it? Okay. It's solder time. Oh, it doesn't have its own line like the others? Oh, it's just because of the length. It's just because of the way Twitch chat works. It doesn't have... Twitch chat actually does not have line returns. Do you know that? You can't return a line on Twitch chat. You have to like make the space for yourself or something. It's kind of annoying actually. Alright, let's start soldering. So let's get the soldering iron on. That sounds super annoying. Yeah, that's why the links are like pasted right after. So you know how it says like canon keys and there's a link right away? It's because of that. Because it treats like I want it like if it's like a one word. If it's treated as one word, it's gonna try to write it in one full line instead of splitting it in a weird way. So yeah, that's why. It is kind of annoying though, for sure. Alright. So speaking of Salvin and sponsors, it is sponsor time. Talk about a few of the sponsors of Lightning keyboards. You've heard them yesterday if you were here, but if not, here we go. First up, we have Canon Keys. So you can head on over to Canon Keys where you can purchase GMK Hallyu. GMK Hallyu is this Korean theme set. Has these cool like nightlife based colors. So go and check it out. Has a bunch of desk mats as well as a Rama keycap design. So yep, head on over to Canon Keys to get GMK Hallyu. You can get all of my affiliate links using exclamation sponsors. It's also posted every so often on the stream chat. So please do consider using my affiliate link for your purchases. Next up is DixieMech. You can head on over to dixiemech.com/lightning, where you can currently purchase GMK Redline until the end of this week. So it actually ends this Friday. So if you're considering GMK Redline, don't snooze, otherwise you lose. Alright, next up for our sponsors we have, is this the PogChamp himself, the freshest, Mr. Lightning. Hello. What's up, Mr. Heinebush? How are you doing? How you doing, buddy? But yeah, okay, so the next sponsor we have is Mint Autumn. You can head on over to mintautumn.com just to check out what future projects they have in hold. There's going to be a Rukia round 3 at some point in the future, as well as an Irma TKL made in polyethylene. You should consider signing up for the newsletter as well as their Discord server for more news. Later on, once Mint Autumn has products and group buy sales, there will be more information that I'll provide about being able to get a discount or something like that. So stay tuned. Is that a real Q? Is that a real Q? My Q is a real Q. Whew, dropping them difficult Qs. I don't know. Hold up, Redline isn't an in-stock product? If it's not, no, it's a group buy. It's a group buy. GMK Redline is a group buy. Anyway, next up for our sponsors, we have Novelkeys. So there you actually have a lot of in-stock products. You can head on over to novelkeys.xyz and enter the promo code Thunder to get 5% off any in-stock product from Novelkeys. But otherwise, they just recently restocked some Switches, and they will be doing Black Friday deals closer to the day of. So stay tuned for that. They will also be having extra sale later on the RGB add-on kit, as well as GMK Darling and what else? GMK White on Black Zuyin as well. I think that one should also have extras later on, closer to Black Friday. So just stay tuned to their newsletter for more news on that. Otherwise, they're currently running GMK Honor by BIP, which you can purchase a base kit for only $95. The base kit is smaller than usual. It's one of those TKL only base kits. Not TKL only, but like TKL or smaller layout base kits. But for $95 is a pretty good deal. So do consider purchasing GMK Honor by BIP. Has some awesome Rama keycap design as well as some Decimat designs. Yep. Alright, next up is Prime Keyboards, primekb.com/lightning, where you can purchase. They restocked silent alpacas this morning. I'm actually not entirely sure if they have run out. They had alpacas up till this past week, so also you could check. They also sell Durox stabilizers and like switch lubing stations, switch openers, and whatnot. Other little goodies, accessories for your Prime E. And in December, they'll be holding an in-stock sale of the Meridian, which is a 60% ergonomic keyboard in collaboration with AI03, who is also the designer of the Polaris and the Vega and the Andromeda. Alright, next up we got Project Keyboard. They're not currently holding any group buys at the moment, but GMK Noir just recently ended. They'll for sure have some new products coming up in the pipeline. I'm happy to announce that I also have approved the banderole for GMK Dolchar 5, so I'm kind of excited to hear more news on that as we go. And yeah, it's currently in the pipeline in the queue for GMK, so hopefully we'll see that sometime soon next year. But yeah, it'll be a while from now, so yep, it'll be a long wait. And finally, we got Salvin.com. You can head on over to Salvin.com to check out this awesome CNC machinist cool products. He has merch. He has metallic keycaps made out of aluminum, brass. They're Cerakoted, anodized, all sorts of goodies. He also has run the synth project with Binge of Hungerworks Studio. They will also be doing the Key Cult number 3 collaboration later on. They've been doing they are also currently the proxy for 160 and 165 wrist rests in Europe. So if you're in Europe or anywhere close to the EU and you would like to purchase from Salvin directly, you can do so. Otherwise, if you're in North America, you can get it from keycult.com. But yeah, Salvin is expected to bring a lot of cool products
specifically keyboards, as well as, you know, keycaps that he makes alongside keyset designers. Yeah, he does a lot of really cool work. So if you're interested in his work, he'll stream every so often under Salvin CNC, so twitch.tv/SalvinCNC. And if you find him on Instagram under Salvin, he also does very extensive stories, Instagram stories, where he will go over all the process he's going through in a given workday, and he talks about it, and he shows off cool stuff. Sometimes there's some sneak peeks, some quick sort of flash sales in a way, because he like puts stuff on the website, and you know, some cool keycaps fly away like that. But yeah, I personally learned a lot from Salvin's stories, so I do recommend checking him out if you're curious about machining and manufacturing. You have a good memory. Good memory about what, silly pairs? All the sponsor stuff? Oh yeah, I mean, yeah. I've also done it enough times to kind of have it, yeah. It's almost like muscle memory in a way. But yeah, I mean, I kind of know all these vendors firsthand, right? Like, I've talked to them and check out their products and stuff, so it's a little easier when you're invested, if that makes sense. I spent many a dollar through these vendors too, so make shilling that much more easier, for sure. Rather than shilling is merely just talked about in the news, I guess. But yeah, it is shilling in a very technical sense. You know, it's like I kind of have to do it and stuff. But yeah, it's not like, it doesn't feel unpleasant to me. It might sound like very robotic and stuff to some people though, because they're here from many other people too. Like, you know, like, it's not like I'm the only streamer who talks about these vendors. So yeah, I get it. I shill in Twitch chat. Shill DN. Okay. So this stream is sponsored by Heine Bush DN, you please head on over to honey.cc to check out some DN. It's a okay, buddy. Okay. All my shit sold out. Oh, I see. Nice. That's good. Being sold out is good. Means you made monies. Restock some stuff on Friday? Cool. This Friday. Restock, guys. You heard it from the man. From the man himself. Alright, so let's test this out. Oh, totally forgot that this was programmed to media keys, so apologies. Oh no, it's mute. Okay, so this... I'm gonna have to test it anyway, so just bear with me. Okay, that's previous. That's next. What did I program this to? I think this is play and pause. Play and pause. Volume down, volume up. I think this is RGB, which is working fine. Okay. I think that was caps lock. Pause. And then I think this was a macro. Then escape. Function row. Yeah, function row. And then I programmed this to... I think it was print screen or something else. I forget. I might have... did I forget to solder that? I might have forgotten to solder this one, actually. Oh, I did. Okay. Good thing I caught it. I know, I forget something, so... What macros do you have bound to the functions on the Juby? Right now they're just on the function, under the function layer, I think I have like, for example, like you can, like this one, you can hear it out yourself, but hold up, it's like, wait. I have like that. I have like media keys. Yeah, some other random stuff like that. Can we please raid Christopher Yee? Really? I've never raided him. QMK spent 900 man hours to implement the beep. Hackerman sounds. Oh shit. Oh, totally forgot that I have stuff programming weird places. What the hell? Did I program media keys accidentally in a different place? Maybe I did. Oh well, I'll have to check that key map. I think I did program something weird on the alpha cluster for some odd reason. But I can reprogram it right now, so it's not a problem. Okay, the rest works, but I don't know what I did with this. Oh, haha, I just forgot to solder it. Sounds like such a me thing to do. Alright, great. This is why I keep the soldering iron hot until I'm done testing, so. There you go, okay. So nothing weird. I think I just pressed it accidentally. Something else earlier, so. Wait, does that beep sound the same for all key presses? Yeah, this one does. But there's like a music mode, which is kind of like, it turns off your keyboard and it plays like music. Like it has like octaves and stuff. Is a PCB producing that beep? Yeah, there is a speaker right here. There's a small piezoelectric speaker over here that beeps. So it's special to the Juby PCB? Yeah, it is special to the Juby PCB. Wilba implemented, or I mean put a component to do that with. Alright, let's I blame Poner. Yeah, you can blame Poner for a lot of things, I think. Alright, I'm gonna skip on some of this stuff. I think I like accidentally pressed. Alright, let's figure out this stuff now. So this gets top mounted, and I put the screws aside earlier. We have some, let's see, these screws are the ones for the plate. Oh, what the hell? Imagine making that sound, the sound into an MX Blue. Why not just make it a sound like a solenoid, you know? Like really loud and clunky. But I don't think you can with a piezoelectric speaker though. Like it's just not possible to make that kind of sound specifically. Does the Zenith have that feature? No. Womp womp. Okay. So that's top mount, and then let's see, these diffusers go in like that. And then we get our bottom piece here. I think I'm just gonna sandwich it like that first. Okay. And then we have more screws to put in. So pretty sure this is this here. This long one goes through the middle here. And then these guys. All right, we're done. Yay. Okay, let's put some. So GMK Alter, yay or nay? How about we go with that first? GMK Alter, yay or nay? If nay, then start suggesting some other stuff if you really want to. Nay? Dolch? No, I'm not gonna take out this one, no. F that, Paris. You're trying to make me do work.
Yay. Okay. Yay. It is.
Let's see, there's like novelties here. Spacebar kit. Wait, hold up. Oh, I see, because they had to... Wait, what? Oh, I see, yeah. Remade spacebar kit. Interesting. Yeah, everyone got both sets of alphas, yes. I don't know why I put the other set of alphas. Oh, I think I put it in a separate bag, because I just didn't want to mix it up. So yeah, these are the correct alphas. These are the corrected alpha keys. Is a GMK tray so bad that you'd rather use Ziploc? Yeah. Yeah, GMK tray sucks. I hate it. New GMK trays are just so bad. I hate it. Seriously. I wish they just brought the old ones back, to be honest with you. The old ones didn't really have issues. I mean, like, people would complain about some random things, but for me, it was like a non-issue. Like, if you're careful enough, it was fine. But the new GMK trays are just complete garbage in the sense that they just, like, get crushed in shipping and stuff. Not to mention, they also don't hold the caps well. Like, it's just, like, many issues in those new GMK trays. So, yeah. I don't like them. These caps shouldn't have color wearing off? What? But the nice picture of our king on the box though. I mean, I have the box set aside. I'm not saying I trashed the box, I trashed the tray though. I mean the tray, like the paper tray, like not the banderole. I put the banderole aside. I need to put these nav keys aside because I just don't know where they go. Right now, I don't know which row profile I have to use. That's the only issue with having all this like like all spread like this is that I haven't sorted them by. I should have sorted them by row or like by layout, honestly. I just was too lazy. I just dumped them right in, trashed the trays, or put the trays aside for now. But yeah, I should have probably organized them better. Hindsight's 2020, but whatever. I don't really care. It's not like I'm running out of time here. Do you think GMK should make scented banderoles? No, I don't. I think that would actually suck to people who are sensitive to that stuff. Do you know? Like, there's some people who are actually sensitive to that stuff, like scented stuff. I don't think it's nice to them. So yeah, I would say no. I have no idea. Well, now you know. There's people who are sensitive to that stuff. I can't smell? Well then. What am I missing? Caps lock. Where's caps? I have control here. Where is caps lock? Caps lock. I have 5. Okay, so insert. I guess delete. And then, well, I don't really have home end in the right profiles, but I'll just use, where's the row 1 key? Frick, where is it? I guess I'll just use all row 1s, because, yeah. Don't really have the right profile for these, so we're just gonna wing it with row 1 keycaps. Yeah, sure, that's fine. Certain candles are too strong for me, get my allergies all riled up. Yeah, that's what I've heard before. JTK trays are alright. JTK trays are not perfect. The reason being that they're what's off about them for JTK trays is actually that the dimensions are not perfect, the horizontal dimensions, and so like sometimes the keycaps don't seem to fit perfectly. Like the full row, for example, like let's say you took the home row and you tried to put it in, it's not perfect. It seems to be off by a little. And the problem is having multiple of them, multiple trays. I mean, yeah, multiple trays together. They tend to they tend to slide on each other, so they don't really stack very well. Is what I would say. Huh? That's a weird way to do novelties, to be honest with you. Maybe I'll just use this star thingy on both sides. Okay. instead of the super key. Oopsie. We'll use the star novelties. Okay, what should I put on this side of things? What do I put here? Do I put the numpad keys? I don't have much to put on there. I mean, like, I don't think I have 10 keycaps here to put. That's like novelties. Like 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I don't think I have enough. So, I think numpad keys, I guess? Numpad? Artisans? That's a lot of artisans, man. That's a lot of artisans. But I could. I guess I could. I mean, I guess I can put some other novelties here, like the crown and the grail, holy grail stuff. Can I choose an artisan? You could. You can name a maker. I could go try and see if I have anything of that maker. You have enough. Calling me out like that. Got any more of those resins? Yeah, sure. I actually picked a few. I didn't think I would have so many. I picked a few. I picked this Brobot, which is a bit too dark. I have this Type Beast, which is a bit too dark as well. I have this Togepi, which is a bit too dark as well. I have this Murray, which is also a bit too dark. I have this TP, which is a little bit too light, actually. It's not blue. And I have this Zev by MF Caps. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them. Okay, I'll find more. I'll find more caps, fine. Okay, okay. Alright, we'll find some artisans. Maybe I'll put gaff caps here. I'll put maybe these two together. No, I'm not feeling that one. I'll put the Murray with the Togepi maybe. Put the bot here. Bot's kind of big though. Bot. Let's put the bot on the. Let's put the bot here. Okay. I guess I'll have to go find some caps. Do you have Sism resins? I actually don't. Not in this color. No grays, no purples, no blues. No, I don't have any of that. Alright. Let's grab more resin. Okay. Oh, I have moon blanks. I have moon blanks. Let's get some moon blanks on. So this is my treasured moon blank collection. Let's put some group themed. And let's put some, I forget what this was called, but it was like some, I forget. Something. Maybe more moon blanks, actually. We could fill it with moon blanks, to be honest with you. This guy has a gazillion artisans. I've been collecting for a few years. I've been collecting for 4 years now. 4 years of artisan collecting. That's quite some time. Not to mention the problem with me is that I don't really sell my stuff. So I just kept collecting, which is a problem. But you know how that goes. Maybe something like that? Maybe I should find more sculpted stuff. Do you have insurance on your artisan collection? Yeah, sort of. Sort of insured, but not quite. You can't appraise artisans in the same way you can appraise any art. So you can only insure it in the possession value. But you cannot appraise them in a... You cannot appraise them in a formal way. Like, there is no way to appraise artisan keycaps in a way where you can, like, actually declare it's, like, aftermarket value. How do you insure artisans? You have to do it, like, under, like, your home insurance or under, like, your... Like, yeah. You have to get, like, insurance, like, actual insurance. And you have to see if they're flexible with that stuff.
Can I choose an artisan? Rocky, yes, I told you you can, but I don't have schism caps, I think I said. But yeah. Are your keyboards insured? As I said, I have all my goods insured to some extent, but not in the way where you would expect to be able to appraise them like in a classic, typical way. There's just no way to insure some of this stuff. Like, you can't just say like, oh, it's worth this amount in the aftermarket, so therefore this is what you insure it for. They're not gonna buy that. They don't buy it. They're just gonna tell you, nope, that's not true. Show us an invoice. Show us a proof. Or send it to us so we can, you know, to like ask experts, quote unquote, and they'll appraise it at like the manufactured value. You can't. Can you get them insured the same way as vintage Rolexes? No, because for watches, there's like official auctions and stuff like that. There's people who can appraise them. There's no such people in the keyboard community. Like, it's not like we have public auction houses for keyboards and artisans. For watches and art, you do. Keyboard's not mainstream enough. Yeah, exactly. It's the same thing. Try to insure your, I don't know. It really depends. Really depends. But anyway, and let me get two more caps. Two more caps. Okay. These are a little off, but yeah. Seems like the perfect appraiser for this is yourself. I mean, that would be great if I could appraise all this stuff myself. Alright, it's not perfectly matched, but whatever. That's what Alter looks like. Alright. Let's get this rolling. You can still insure them under retail value? Yeah, if you have you can only insure them if you have every single receipt you've paid. You have to have it. You can't just insure it with no reason. Like, with no valid, like, oh, too bad this cable is not USB micro. But, yeah. Yeah, you can only appraise it so much. So you can appraise them based on general possessions value, but you really can't go too much further than that. All right. It's warm. All right, let's see. Let me drink some water. It's been a longer stream than usual. It's a large board, and I also took my sweet ass time with these stabs. Okay. Let's see. Typing test. So let's open up that guy. Okay, cool. All right. And let's get this guy over here. Okay. Oh, it's so hot, but okay. I'll turn off my fan. Turn off my fan. Turn off the music. And maybe that works. Alright, let's see. Alright, cool. Okay. So, let's see. Okay, so this is a
duck TC-V3 built with Gateron ink switches, lubed and filmed with polyethylene stems on a full aluminum plate. Has a bunch of artisans, and this is GMK Alter. Yep. So let's try this out. Speaking of Alter, Fate Stay Night, Heaven's Feel Part 3. Oh, I'm so excited for Heaven's Feel. Oh, when is Heaven's Feel coming out? Oh, I've been waiting for that for so long. 10 peaches. But anyway, alright. First movie I get to see in the cinema since the pandemic started. Ooh, fun times. Alright, here we go with this typing test. Alright. I choked, but yeah, it's all good. Should we try that one more time? We can try it one more time. So it's too slow. Let's try it one more time. I kind of want to try it again. All right. Ooh, a redo. Okay. Wait, weird. Ooh, a little better. We're speeding up towards the end. Not bad, not bad. All right. So this is what the mods sound like. I might unplug this actually. Of course, some of these rub. And that's what it sounds like. Plug it back in. And maybe show you guys what it looks like. I hear no rattle. Yeah, the rattle is gone for sure. Oh, autofocus is on still. I mean, autofocus is not on, rather. Okay. So this is what the board looks like. Let's try to. I'll take out the chat box for a sec. That's what the board looks like. And this is from the front. This is from the side. Has that typical duck underglow view. Oops, sorry. Start playing music. That's the back over here. I had unplugged this now. This is the side. Is that 10 degrees? It's 11 degrees. 11 degrees for this. GMK Alter looks pretty good on black, actually. I actually like the contrast. So the contrast for this set actually looks a little off because the contrast. I mean, right now I have light coming in from here, which is really bright. So it's kind of like giving you the reflected look of the set, but the set kind of looks more like this in front from me, like from that angle. This is kind of how the set actually looks like in front of my eyes, like a this kind of reflection. It's pretty good. The contrast is pretty nice. The left side has no lights on, but the rest do. No. It's because I disconnected it before, right? So, oh, I see. But yeah, the RGB is pretty nice on the duck boards. They've kind of gotten better over this, but yeah. So this uses a USB micro actually, which is kind of interesting. A little different, but yeah, pretty nice board nonetheless. Really heavy actually. Let me weigh it. Let me weigh this board. So this board is pretty heavy, I think. It has an internal weight as well, so keep that in mind. It weighs 7 pounds and 6.4 ounces, which in grams is gonna be 3.35 kilograms, which is actually pretty heavy. This is pretty heavy. I wonder why some people choose micro over Type-C. So the reason Type-C was not used as much for a lot of PCB designers is because they actually didn't know how to implement it. A lot of community PCB designers are pretty new to PCBs. And USB-C works differently from typical USB. Has like a bunch of more pins. Yeah, and then there's like power delivery things that you need to concern yourself over. Protocol wise too, but yeah, there's differences, and so yeah, 3.35 kilograms, so it's quite heavy. I mean, it's a very chunky board though, so it makes sense with so much aluminum and then the internal weight inside. But yeah, I think USB-C is definitely going to be the standard from now on, I think. There's just no way it's not going to, because it's already picked up momentum and basically people are asking for it as like, if it's not USB-C, I'm not gonna use it. So yeah, I think it's becoming a norm, which is great. That's why I kind of have transitioned a lot to USB-C cables now, and so But I still keep like, you know, connectors like these around to be able to swap, because I do have USB mini connector boards. Depleted uranium board. You can buy some canisters of uranium on Amazon, right? Those ores or whatever. It's like those funny reviews. Yeah, let's just switch to iPhone Lightning connector for everything. Any other trends you want keyboard makers to pick up on? Any other trends? Sure. Not keyboard makers, but I wish keyset designers stopped using mod tilde and mod pipe in base kits and put them in the extension kits. Fixed plates. I think having fixed plates, it's nice. I actually wish the standard would be that all keyboard designers release plate files for different layout configurations, so that people who are interested in getting third-party plate support just do it. Not everybody does it though. A lot of people do already, but I think a lot also don't. And I think universal plates are okay, but I think at this point there is enough enthusiasts that we have a lot of resources available to us to like make plates separately too. Type-C is just nice, yeah. Like, it's easier to connect it, all that stuff, yeah, for sure. Art on PCBs, you can ask Wilba for that. Wilba does art on PCBs, I would argue. He does really great PCBs, and they're all very aesthetically pleasing. Having the option of cutting your own plate is really, really nice. Yeah, like to your own thickness, to your own spec. You can make the changes yourself, if anything. It's just lines, a bunch of lines. But, yeah. Wilba's Ayaya PCBs. Yeah. Molly PCB has some nice art. I haven't seen the TKC Molly, so I think I saw Max's stream very briefly, but I don't remember. I think it was like the Molly one is inspired by like the Apple stuff, right? So it had some related stuff to that, or was it on the case, something like that? Yeah. But yeah. You guys got any questions? I'm actually not really pressed for time, because I don't have to wake up early tomorrow for like a meeting or anything. So if you guys have any questions, you can feel free to ask. Yeah, trends that keyboard makers should pick up on. Keyboard makers specifically. I mean, the obvious trend that everyone should pick up on as far as a new keyboard maker goes is do your own research and also prototype your stuff before you carry them to group buy. I mean, there are still group buy runners who kind of bring things from interest check to group buy without prototyping anything, and that's really as a bad sign, to be honest with you. At this point, there's enough established group buy runners that have prototypes running. So I think that if you want to run something for yourself, you should at least have the patience to hold and like to pause for a second and think about how you want to run it and how well it's all going to go. So you need to project it into the future. In order to do that, you do have to prototype your cases and stuff. No proto instance does, yeah, for sure. What artisan cases do you recommend? I recommend the Hate V1 or V2 cases, but I mean, if you want an artisan case that's cheap, you can just go on you can go on Google, and like if you look for like Evil Box, AliExpress artisan case, these guys are like $20, $15, $20, yeah, $16, and you can put 35 keycaps, and pretty cheap. It takes a few weeks to get to the US, for example, but yeah, it's not bad. These are good for cheap, and you like pretty good artisan cases, and yeah, they have coupons like this too. So yeah, these are nice for cheaper cases. If you want something more premium, there's people who make premium cases, but those are, you're talking about more like $100 a case. Oh, I see. So for those, you can go on like Taobao. Taobao has like larger cases. Is this? I'm not sure. What is this? Oh, switch tester. Never mind. Yeah, there's like larger cases for artisans for sure. I just the one that I have, for instance, for the Moon Blanks over here, like the one I have here.
I think the makers of them don't make them anymore. Like they they don't, like these guys, like this case is a 10 by 10. I haven't seen the Taobao seller that would do this is no longer doing these. They do a slightly smaller sizes. They do like 6 by 8. They do like yeah, they do like different sizes, but not 10 by 10 for some reason. I think they stopped doing those for some reason. But yeah, there's some people who are doing stacked acrylic cases. I believe there's a guy named Eli or Ellie who does those. So those can be cheaper options to get larger cases, and you could probably make them customized too. It would run you a little bit more money though. I think the problem with our big artisan cases right now is scaling. You would need to make a lot of them to get them cheap. But if you're making a few, then yeah, like a handful or even like a dozen, it's still kind of expensive. Can be. Thoughts on the Glorious Pandas? We've tried them. I haven't tried them. Wired controller. I haven't bought any Glorious Pandas or gotten any Glorious Pandas. I'm not big enough to get reviews, get review requests for Glorious Pandas. And no problem for most there. Glad it could help. But yeah. Any last minute questions? Let me see who's currently streaming actually. Makers and Crafting. Let's check it out. I think there might be a number of people streaming, but I'm not sure. Let's see. Andy, Christopher Yee. I think what's his name? Heine was recommending to rate Christopher Yee. I'm not sure why. There's Dr. Huru, Taekwondo Bell, and I don't know who else is on. I don't think I see anybody else right now. Urban Lime, they're community member from the Teha Type server. I know, I've seen them many times there. Yeah, what do you guys think? I knew it was memeing. Yeah, I think so too. Dr. Huru. You know what? I kind of wanna. Let me hold on. Let me check. Yeah. Where's Dr. Huru? Hold up. Oh, he's in just chatting. Okay. How long has he been streaming right now? Is he almost done? Is there a way to clean custom keyboards? I recommend getting one of these. Chillgam. I actually, if you do exclamation gear, you can go on my Amazon store or on my kit.co website, but this is the Rocket Johto, like it's basically an air bulb. It's a good way to take off. It's a very easy way to take off stuff like dust, especially. I use it for everything. It's actually much better than using compressed air. The reason with compressed air is that you can risk adding like water, because they're based on, like they can condense. Sounds like a dog sniffing, yeah. Yeah. Can you show us how your cat lamp turns on and off? Yeah, I mean there's a button here. Or otherwise you can, like, vibrations or like hitting it can turn it on and off. Right now it's off, I think, but if you turn it on, and then there's the normal mode, and then I think there's RGB, which it takes some time to. There you go. So there's RGB mode, which consumes more battery, I think. So there's RGB and off, and then regular. Yeah. What about keycaps? For keycaps, I just basically think about it as, okay, I have this cozy here. For keycaps, basically, imagine there's a bowl, but take your keycaps off, put your keycaps in the bowl, put some. I personally use either lukewarm or like just barely warm water, and pop in like 2 or 3 denture tabs. So you know, like the denture tabs, like the ones that, you know, to clean dentures. You just pop 2 or 3 in them, mix it up, like, you know, just mix it a little, and then just leave it for at least half an hour. But I'll just do it like an hour. I just leave it there running, and then I rinse it off, and then dry them on a towel. Just air dry them on the towel. Yeah, you can air dry them, or you can like add some air or something, but I would personally not apply heat or anything like that. I'll just air dry them, let them dry on their own. That's an easy way to dry them up and to clean them. But yeah, basically any light soap helps. Some people use ultrasonic cleaners, but that's kind of fancy. Yard work for the past 2 hours. Home the board sounds good. Oh, hey Tempest, what's up? But yeah, that should work for cleaning your keycaps. All right. So you guys can pick. We can raid Dr. Huru, or I'm kind of leaning towards also raiding someone who's kind of small and they're just doing this for fun. But I figured, you know, why not? Raid. So Dr. Huru or Urban Lime, who is a Types community member, and I just, you know, keep them some company. Deck would be nice to rate straight to love. I think I'll do Urban Lime instead of Deck for this time, because I've rated a Deck before. Gracias for the help, no problem. So Spanglish. Alright, let's raid Urban Lime before they go offline or something. Let's try to surprise them. Let's just say nice things to them. Say like, lightning raid. Say the fastest man in the world has come here. Or something like that. Something that Suzzboards would say. But let's go with, let's say, Miyago raid. Lightning is here. The fastest man in the world. Show us your keyword. Something like that. I don't know. Something Chong would say, we'll go with Gochu Solo. Very true. Very true. Alright, y'all ready? Alright, thank you so much everybody. Next build I'm gonna be doing, it's either gonna be a personal build or a client build, depending on what's ready first. It's very likely for it to be a client build because I do want to clear out the queue. But other than that, I don't really have a specific time when it might be. It might be tomorrow if I have free time. So stay tuned. I might stream again tomorrow if I'm free. If not, probably on Friday or the weekend. Yeah. Sound good? Alright guys, thank you so much, and I'll see you guys next time.